Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, dear learners, welcome in today's lecture. Now, we have reached Unit 10. So, today we are going to start lecture number 1, that is 3A. So, let's start. Our very well, dear students, our today's competency is reading and critical thinking. It's lecture number 3A. So now we have reached at the SLOs. Look at the first SLO. Before understanding the topic in detail, we must know about the SLO. First one, this is our action verb, identify different points of view. Now here, this is about reading and critical thinking. This SLO is taken from the competency reading. That's why identify different points of view. Yes, we have to identify from the text, not given our own viewpoints. Yes, for example, the first person, third person narrative in the form of first person or third person narrative. And the second SLO, determine an author's point of view or purpose in a text and explain how it is conveyed in the text. Determine. Now, the second SLO is telling determine author's point of view. Here, identify. Now, determine what author's point of view and then or purpose in our text. What is the purpose of the writer and what is author's point of view? Then explain how it is conveyed in the text. And then you have to explain the purpose of the author or the viewpoints of the author. And the next one, SLO, is explain whether predictions about the content of a text are acceptable or should be modified and why. Now, this is the next SLO and another part of the series of this SLO. So, my dear learners, I hope you have learned about these SLOs and now it is more clear before going to the next slide. Yes, move to the next part. Yes, now it is the vertical linkage. Identify the speaker of a poem or story. Here in this SLO, just talking about the speaker of the poem, right? First person, third person. Now, the next SLO's vertical linkage is explain whether predictions about the content of a text are acceptable or should be modified and why. These are the vertical linkages. Now we have read at the brainstorming. You know very well, brainstorming is an activity in which we create a storm in our brain so that we can connect with the topic easily. Now, look at the statement. Point of view is like choosing a camera angle. Yes, camera has so many angles, and whenever you choose a what your you select your viewpoint, it is just like the choosing the angle of a camera. So purpose is like choosing the direction, definitely. And predictions are like guessing the next step using clues. So, my dear learners, you have learned about this statement about the SLO. Now, move to the next slide. Author's point of view. Yes, author's point of view or purpose. Now, we are going to discuss these 2 points of this SLO. The author's point of view means what the writer thinks. Yes, what is the thinking of the writer? What is the feels or believes about the topic? What are the thinkings, feelings, or believing about that particular topic? The author's purpose means why the writer wrote the text. So, my dear learners, this statement, this definition is telling 2 points. First one, what is the viewpoint? Viewpoint is just the writer's feelings, thinking about the writing which he wrote. And next one is called what purpose? What is the purpose? Purpose is just means why the writer wrote the text. What is the purpose of writing that text. Why? So this is called purpose. Whether the writer wants to convey just information, or he is presenting the facts and figures, or he wants to create enjoyment in his writing. So this is the purpose. Right, now move to the next and try to learn more about this topic. Yes, author's point of view or purpose. Yes, three common purposes. Yes, we have very clearly known about the point of view, the personal feelings and thinking of the particular text, that is called viewpoint. Now, purposes, three main purposes, three common purposes of writing something. First one, to inform. The main point is the some texts are written to inform the audience. The audience may be the students, maybe the children, maybe the scholars, maybe the teachers or the general public. To give information, right, to inform, the text that is written to provide, to give information, that should be the purpose of the writer or the author. Example, a paragraph about the water cycle. And this paragraph explain and give information about the particular process, that is water cycle. And example number 2, or common purpose number 2, to persuade. To persuade means to convince. The text, the paragraph, the book that is written to convince, that is called to persuade the reader. For example, a text telling you to save water. Here, before, the purpose to inform, we are just telling about water cycle, but now the second point, in which the text is persuading, it means not persuading means just convincing. The reader is convincing what to save water. In the first purpose is just telling about what cycle, and in the second purpose, in which the writer is persuading, it means save water. And third point, to entertain, to make the reader enjoy or imagine, this is called entertainment. So example, a funny story or fairy tale. So, my dear learners, we have discussed these three purposes in detail. Now, I hope you have cleared this concept from these points. Now, move to the next slide. Yes. How do we know the author's purpose? Yes, very important question. How do we know the author's purpose? Are clues in language. The author, the writer, uses some specific language, and the writer deliberately leaves some clues in the language to know the author's purpose. We look for clues like, yes, whenever we read any text, we have to look for clues like these. First of all, important words like save, must, should, right? If these words come in any text, they are suggesting the author is persuading, right? And the next one is facts and details. Like you will have to the clues in language like dates, numbers, that is informal. What it means that to inform, just inform about the facts and details. It doesn't mean to persuade, it is just awareness. Its purpose is just to aware or inform the public or the readers. And third one is feelings and expressions. Yes, definitely there are some words which show the feelings and expressions. Amazing, exciting, entertain. These words or these clues from the language tell us the written material is about to entertain the reader. So, dear students, if we want to look into the text, how we can see or locate the purpose of the writer, we can get clues from the language or the words. The words or the language patterns clearly tell us what is the purpose of the text which we are reading. Now, move to the next point and try to learn some more. Now, look at the example. Yes, here is a text. We should always recycle to keep our city clean. Yes, we should. Now, the word, keep in mind your word, keep in your mind the words. Should always recycle different things which are used in the city to keep our city clean. So, point of view, first of all, we see, we get the point of view of the reader from this text. Recycling is good process, is good thing. And the purpose to persuade. Yes, to persuade. Yes, this should is telling us the writer wants to persuade the readers. Yes, so I think so, my dear learners, you have learned something more about this particular example. Now move next and try to learn more. Yes, narrator's point of view, first person and third person. Yes, the narrator is the person who tells the story. Yes, two main types of the narrators, first person point of view. Now, look at what is the first person point of view. The narrator is inside the story. First person always remains in the story, uses words I, me, my, we, us. These words tell us that the first person is going on and is describing the story. We hear the narrator's own feelings and thoughts. Yes, dear students, look at these points. The narrator is a person who tells the story. So, my dear learners, now it is clear to you people that the narrator, a person who is telling the story, who is not present particularly, and sometimes the narrator presents himself in the form of characters, but not all the time. Mostly, the narrator just come in the story in the form of a narrator and narrate the story, tells the story, right? And right now, let's move to the next slide and try to learn what is more about these things. Yes, narrator's point of view, first persons and third person. Now we have reached the third person. Now look at the example. I walked to the park and felt very happy. Now let me tell, I is telling about first person. This is not the example of the third person. This is of the first person. Yes, now we have reached the second one, that is called third person point of view. First of all, the narrator is outside the story. Yes, the third person never remains inside the story. He detached himself from the story and show that he is outside the story, not the part of that story. And number two, uses words. Yes, what the third person uses the words like this: he, she, they, his, her. Whenever you look at the narrator's words, if the narrator uses such words in the writing, it means that the narrator is in the form of the third person, not in the first person, right? The narrator tells what others do or feel. Third person narrator tells what others do or feel. Like, look at the example. She walked to the park and felt very happy. If I rewrite this sentence like this, I walked to the park and felt very happy, it will be the first person experience or the first person point of view. So now, dear student, we have discussed both persons, first person and third person point of view. Now, move to the next point. Making predictions. Predictions mean guessing what happens next whenever we read. Dear students, whenever we read any text, there is inquisitiveness, there is inquiry in any reader's mind. And to fulfill that inquiry, the reader try to know what is going ahead in the text. This process is called predictions, right? It is called guessing. Yes, a prediction is a smart or educated guess about what will happen next in a text. How do readers make predictions? How do readers make predictions? First one, by using clues from the text. Yes, clues are helpful in predicting what is going to be next in the text by using pictures, headings, and details, by using what they already know. These are the points which are useful for making predictions or guessing more about what is going to happen in the text. Now, come to the example. The text is dark clouds covered the sky and strong winds began to blow. This is the text or the line. Prediction. Now, look at this. It might rain. How we can conclude, how we can predict, how we can guess. Dark clouds covered the sky and strong winds began to blow. From these words, we conclude, the reader predict that it might rain. Yes. So, dear students, these are the techniques which we use for predictions or guessing what is going to be happen in next in the text. Now, move to the next slide. Now, look at this. Dear students, this is all about today's lesson. There are simulations with this lecture, with this PPT as well. Worksheets are here, and our resources are available for you people. Along with PPT, worksheets are there, skill sheets are there, question bank is there, lesson plans are there. Now, these all resources are for you, and it's up to you how you can use them and get more information about the topics and other things as well. Now, thank you so much, dear students, for making your concepts clear and listening me. Tomorrow, we will come with the next topic. Till that time, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.